Under the lower of cost or market inventory method, we're going to compare our cost, our historical cost, to our market value. And then we're going to take whichever of those is lower for our inventory and establish those on our books as the value on our books. So, in our first two examples for items 1 and 2, our starting market price is the replacement cost. Not what we paid for it, but what we could replace it for. So in scenario 1, our replacement cost is $40. As long as that is between the floor and the ceiling for replacement cost, we use the replacement cost as our market price. So that happens both in scenario 1 and scenario 2. It's between the floor and the ceiling. And in your text you can see the definition of what establishes the floor and the ceiling. So, our market price is $40 in this case. We compare that to the cost, and we take the lower of those two, which is $35. In scenario 2, our market ends up being $30. That is lower than the cost, so our lower of cost or market ends up being $30, the market. In scenarios 3 and 4, the market price is going to end up being less than the floor. And we can never go less than the floor in our replacement cost to establish our market price. So in these two cases, because our replacement cost is below the floor, we establish the floor as our market price. In scenario 3, our market is below our cost, so we write it down to the market price, or we'll record a journal entry later to devalue the inventory. And in this case, the cost is still below, so we keep it at the cost. In scenarios 5 and 6, the market price, or I'm sorry, the replacement cost ends up being more than the ceiling. We can never go higher than the ceiling. So therefore, our ceiling becomes our market price. In scenario 5, the cost is lower than the market, so we keep it at cost. And in this scenario 6, our market is lower than the cost, so our market price becomes the lower of cost or market.